till noon on Friday, September 20th. And we are sailing solo today. Main thing I want to do today is I just want to sail. So it looks like we've got some decent wind. We'll be able to put up all the canvas. No concerns with that. We'll just need to get the sails up here in the harbor and then start rolling. Adios, LA Harbor. The gate's right behind us. We're under sail. Genoa and full main. Staysail's not out. Don't know if we'll need it. Looks like we're moving well. All right, now we're doing about 6.5 knots. We're pointing at the island. We'd still like to come up a little bit more. And I'm seeing about, see that rudder sensor? So that -10, -8. If I drop the Traveler, I think I can get that number down a little bit. And we'll put on the brakes a little bit. So start getting too much weather helm. Twisting your rudder might keep you on course, but it's like putting on the brake. So we'll try dropping the Traveler just a bit. Traveler's down now. I'm seeing a dip. It's bouncing all around a little bit. I was seeing it get down to -4, a little bit better. But here's the Traveler down. Look at the tailtails, those red tailtails streaming off the leech. Got the tanker Washington passing just ahead of our bow right now. It's about 2.25 miles out. It's 823 feet long. And it looks a lot closer than it is. All right, winds come up a little bit. We're running close to 15 knots. And I put her up another 5 degrees. Just getting ready to pass the shipping lanes. Looks clear. There's the southbound over here. Behind us looks clear. We're doing 7.2 right now. So I'm pretty happy with the speed. Yeah, it never fails. I like this point of sail. We've got a cargo ship about 5 miles out. The CPA of 0.8 miles, about a mile and a half hour. So he's up here. He's going to turn to port. So he's going to cut it a little bit closer. I may take a bearing here. We'll see if this guy is going to pass in front of us or behind us. We're doing 7.3. So we're cooking right now. Last I checked, they were doing like 4.9, 5 knots maybe. 4.9 knots, speed over ground. So yeah, we're going to cut in front of these guys. We've got CPA between a mile and a mile and a quarter at this point. I feel good to stay on course. All right, we've crossed the bow of the Cetus humpback as predicted. The sailing's all right. The seas are pretty flat, really, and the winds are still holding pretty decent. About 13.5 true, and I don't know, 17 or so maybe apparent. She's been just kind of dialed in, rolling like a freight train. Still exploring solar options. may recall I upgraded the panels behind me. I had two 125 watt panels, and I was able to put two 250 watt panels for a total of 500 watts over the bimini, with the special thanks to Andy at Sailing Soleil for helping me fabricate the braces for this. So those are working out well. And then I've got kind of a temporary lash right now just to see how it's going to fit, but this is a 200 watt flexible BougeRV. It's not the 6 panel that they sell, it's just like the regular fiberglass or whatever. We'll see how this is going to work. This thing's going to get a lot of shade, and I don't have it connected right now. So anything I get out of it will be a positive. I know it's going to be suboptimal up here. Mola Mola right there. Passed within about, I don't know, 10 feet or less. Got a little traffic out here. A little over 2.5 miles from the island at this point. Two Harbors is just a little bit to starboard. See Long Point there, then Avalon. Barely can see it back in the distance. We can see the west end. So I was thinking about going to the west end, but that means we're gonna have to do some tacking here. And the tack will involve rolling up the Genoa and then moving over to starboard, get the wind across our bow, and then we'll release the sail yet again. It's actually getting a little bit more turbulence. We're getting closer to the island. I was thinking things would start chilling down a little bit, but we're getting later in the afternoons, about 20 till 3 p.m. So we're starting to get a little bit of the afternoon wind action. I'm sure the island is dirtying the wind too. We're running 38 apparent, so we're running pretty hot. All right, a little bit of work. We're pitching right now. We're gonna fall off a little. Okay, it's just about 4 p.m. and our plan's coming together. I wanted to get west of Ship Rock. You can see it off the port bow. So we achieved that. I looked at AIS, and there might be a boat anchored where we want to anchor at Emerald Bay. It seems like there has been all year, but we will do a drive-by anyways. 20 till 4. So the anchorage at Emerald Bay was open, but didn't look very comfortable, so I decided we're going to go ahead and go to Cat Harbor. So what that means is we just got the mainsail and we're motor sailing at this point, doing about 5 knots. So this waves and wind is slowing us down a bit. Real close to the west end. It's like a bucket Bronco here. As expected, things chilled way out once we got around the west side of the island here. It's kind of the west end pointing out this way. And there's Eagle Rock. We can see Ribbon Rock in the distance. So hopefully it's not too busy at the anchorage here. I only see one boat on AIS, and you can see where I usually anchor, kind of almost mid harbor here. So we'll see if we can get in a little bit closer and get in maybe at like 50 feet or so this time, instead of being at like 80 or 90. Final approach to Cat Harbor. This guy's got his outriggers out. I don't know what he's up to. All right, we're all snubbed in. 7:15. And just in time, I'm going to turn on the anchor lights. We're in 67 feet of water. We got shore over the port. There's a buoy out there. I don't know what that's marking. Fishing boat. An outrigger behind us, and then this fishing boat's got a big outrigger. Should have plenty of room to swing. I'll set an anchor alarm as well. Tidy up the lines a little bit. Got a little bit of cleanup to do there, and put the boom crutch on to quiet down the swinging and reduce a little bit of chafe at anchor. And then we will chill out.
Keel dragger, man.
This is Keel Dragger.
Hey, Keel Dragger, I've followed your stuff for a while. My name's Jim. I think I see you in Cat Harbor. We're just on the other side, on the west side, in a Baba 40. So I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, thanks, Baba 40. Those are excellent boats. I almost bought a Panda 40 before buying the Valiant.
Oh, did you? Well, you can't go wrong with the Valiant. My understanding is that Bob Perry, you know, he did the Baba 30, and then they asked him to do a 35, which he's kind of stretched out to 30, and then they asked him to do a 40, so he thought, well, I can't continue to stretch it out, so he dusted off the plans for the Valiant. He didn't copy them, but gave him inspiration, and, you know, it's a full keel boat, so it's different, but so there's a little Valiant in there, I think. And anyway, we love the boat. It's been great.
Yeah, those are great boats. Where are you based out of?
So we live in Mission Viejo. The boat's in San Diego. So we came up Sunday, and we're here for another few days. We're trying to shake the boat down and get ready for the Ha-Ha in November.
Excellent. Yeah, you'll be a couple of weeks ahead of me, I think. I'm gonna leave right after Thanksgiving. Although I'm headed towards Puerto Vallarta. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back up in the sea or not.
In La Cruz for a couple of weeks and go home for Christmas. So who knows? We may be, you know, bumping into you.
Good morning. It's 20 after 4. A rollier here in Cat Harbor than normal. It's still pretty pleasant relative to the other side of the island, so I'm not complaining. I heard something on deck. I don't know what it is. At least I thought I heard something on deck. I'm kind of wondering, because I thought I heard a little flutter on deck, whether it's a flying fish or something. I don't know. It's something made a noise. So let's. This light's great, isn't it? Is there anything on the deck? Oh, it's a bird. All right. First rule of boating is whatever projects you can do at the dock, do at the dock. I bought a new 2,000 watt inverter versus the 600 that I'm in, and I'm pulling out hardware now. Try and get this sucker out. I'm gonna need to do some yoga to reach up in here. So there's several of these pieces of hardware here that I pulled out, these drawers that were kind of custom installed. And unfortunately, this inverter here is, this flashlight needs new batteries, but this inverter here, which you can't see with this lame flashlight, is there's not enough wire here, enough slack for me to do much. So I don't know, I'm going to take it out and I'll probably will just run new wires, because I need to be able to service and replace the stuff out to sea. And it's relatively stable here at Cat Harbor, but this is a project. All right, the old inverter's out. So I actually thought I had a 600 watt. Turns out I have a 400 Voltage amp, I believe, is the correct term, but basically a 400 with surge to 800 watt Xantrex. That's what I just removed. And I think that was installed in like 2004, so 20 years ago. So now let's fast forward 20 or so years into the future almost. And what do we have? This is a BougeRV 2000 watt inverter. You can see the comparison here. This thing's got quite a bit more heft to it, but even this for a 400 makes things pretty heavy. Just imagine that thing was pulling quite a bit just on standby power. So I'm excited to hook this sucker up. I may have to run some new wires. I don't feel comfortable with the sizing. There was no shutoff switch for the inverter, so it was basically just the remote or this button here. Or this breaker button, and that was it. So there was no way to positively disconnect it without pulling it from the battery. So super uncomfortable with that. I am going to so I'm at the bare minimum I'm gonna put like a breaker switch in between the inverter, because I don't feel comfortable with that arrangement at all. All right, disaster area. I got a bunch of loose wires here. It's just mostly the solar stuff, but let's see what this does. Okay. Moment of truth. That is the heat gun on full blast. Minus 90 something amps with this little heat gun. And it's hot. All right, that's that. Inverter works. All right, so I didn't film myself on the dinghy arm wrestling with this rusted motor here. I'm heading back from the Harbor Reef restaurant. Had lunch or dinner with Chris and Carmen on Sailing Vessel Aeronautical, and Andy from Sailing Soleil, the usual cast of characters. And now I'm heading back in the dark to try and find my way back to the boat. 20 till 8 a.m. We got a couple of power boats heading out. I've got the dink and the motor put up and getting ready to haul the engine. Look at last night, maybe it's because I had the deck light on, but we got all these little flies here. 8 a.m. and keel dragger is off and up out. Adios, Cat Harbor, adios. Got a whopping knot and a half of true wind, so went ahead and put the main up, and we can see Eagle Rock out in the distance. All right, so we're just coming up on the Eagle Rock, getting close to the west end here, and I'm pretty excited. So I just tested on the iPhone the satellite texting feature, which just came out with iOS 18, I believe, and looks like it's working well. So now I have a little bit of a decision to make. I was thinking about, for offshore work, re-enabling my Iridium Go. It's right with taxes and everything. The bottom plan is going to be about 80 bucks a month. But I intend to keep Starlink as well, so I'm having trouble stomaching $250 plus, for the Starlink per month, and another 80 or so for Iridium Go. Even the $250 a month is a lot. It adds up. Six knots of true, not much wind, but we'll take what we can get. See if we can a little sailing here. Or maybe we can go out a little bit further.
banging around a little bit in this light wind. Did the not so great fun task of retying a bowline on the Genoa sheet on the port side. It was coming loose. I just must have just slipped a little bit under load. It was a proper bowline, but I don't think I had enough on the end when I tightened it down. So I've got plenty there now. We were practicing for the intertropical convergence zone, aka the doldrums, but wind's starting to fill in a bit. A little bit. 7 knots may be true. We're doing 3.5 or so. It's getting a little annoying because the boom was just flopping around a little bit, as was the head sail. I can see a little bit of wind on the water now, which is nice. Behind me, not so much, so I think maybe we're starting to get out from the shadow of the island. Quarter to 11. Just gently making our way along around 2.5 knots or so. I have a light swell banging the sails. Not much wind. This view of Catalina. Still waiting to see if it clears up. I don't know if it's going to clear up today or not. Kind of wanted to see how the second solar panel would produce, kind of yield we would get with full direct sunlight. All right, throw in the towel, not for reasons you might not think, but I mean, we didn't have any wind. I was drifting around, but these little flies were kind of driving me nuts, so thought I'd get moving and get a little bit of wind, at least apparent wind, and see if these flies are a little bit less annoying. 20 afternoon. The bad news is we are way off course. Good news is we're doing almost 5 knots now, sailing, and we're dodging a ship right now, the cargo ship Girasol River, 751 foot cargo ship, right off the port bow. We've got a CPA probably close to 2 miles. I turned pretty hard to port because we were actually on a really close approach, so I did a crazy Ivan, and we're gonna stay clear of the shipping lane and let them pass, and then we'll head over to starboard, cross the lane, and then start working our way over towards San Pedro, and we should have some good sailing for the rest of the afternoon is my prediction. So I don't think it's Girasol, I think it's Girasole River. Maybe. Butchering the pronunciation, I'm sure. Alright.
On 6-9, come in, Girasol River. Calling Girasole.
Girasole.
I am the sailing vessel for starboard bow, a couple miles. I just see if you have eyes on me. Over.
1 p.m. and the wind's built to about 12 knots. Pretty easy sailing. We're somewhere in the shipping lanes. Wind's picking up. We're seeing in the high 15s now, but it's super mellow out. Look at this. Broad reach. The seas are pretty flat. 3.5 miles. Want to go ahead and furl the head sail. So it's easier when you're going downwind a little bit. You can use the main to kind of shield the Genoa when you furl it. It's a lot easier to furl. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that now. I had plenty of time left, and we're still doing 5.5 knots with main alone, so we'll cruise in on main, and we'll drop the main inside of LA Harbor. Motor sailing in, we're seeing the wind go from 12 to 17 knots, so it's kind of a little puffy. No big deal. We're moving along over 7 knots. Coming in hot, about 8 knots. The 22 Osprey flying over low. Little windy coming in today. Hurricane Gulch, baby. How was your trip?
Had a few problems, but we came back.
Always problems. Nothing major, huh?
Yeah, the generator, I don't know, the pillar spun on the shaft. I got it torn apart. The thing was pegged hot, smoking out of the exhaust, and I shut her down.
So you had all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, freshwater system, hose popped off with pumping water at the bottom of the boat. Mic upstairs for the VHF ain't working.
So what didn't work?
Well, the big motor just kept us going. At least we stayed the night. Grandkids fished, had a blast.
You're at 2 Harbors, right?
Yeah.
I was on the backside of Cat Harbor.
Were you?
Yeah, I looked for you at the bar. I didn't see you.
We didn't go into town. We were barbecuing and having a good time.
Right on.